Hello, I'm Tanya Weiss and I'm the Heart of Sidley Project Coordinator.
Hello, I'm Stuart Drew and I'm Director and Chief Executive of the Warr Pavilion.
The Levelling Up Fund is a government investment into areas of deprivation around a range of opportunities from upskilling, employment, creativity, spaces, places, buildings, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. It's significant government investment. It's the second round. It's for very specific things. We're lucky here that it includes culture for us, which is the focus of our bid. And it's worth saying that it's for projects that were already had consultation and that were worked up to a reasonable degree to be able to be delivered relatively quickly.
And we're very fortunate because we've both been consulting with our communities about what they want and we're able to put that forward. So Sidley is getting just over £2 million and we'll be building a multi-purpose community hub which includes a fantastic changing places facility, one of the only in the whole of Rother. It will also include improved pitch facilities at Sidley Recreation Ground as well as parking.
And I guess it also complements the BMX facilities, the investment there, which has been hugely successful. The Warr Pavilion's getting £17 million towards a larger project that's around £23 million. It's the investment that the pavilion has needed for quite a long time to complete the restoration of the pavilion, so to deal with those leaking roofs and the south staircase window, and to invest in the auditorium that hasn't been invested in for decades. It's also for the provision of new learning spaces, a realignment of the site so that it's much more kind of porous and accessible to audiences in our community.
Yeah. Sidley is a big local area, so it's one of the top most deprived areas in the country. It's one of 150 most deprived areas in the country.
And then the pavilion is based in Bexhill Central, which is also an area of high deprivation. Life expectancy is 7 years less than it is elsewhere within East Sussex. Average earnings are lower, more children and single parents in poverty. So it's really, really important that this investment starts to give opportunity to those individuals to improve those situations.
Well, culture and creativity makes a huge difference to mental well-being, emotional well-being. There's lots of statistics to evidence that, isn't there? It brings people together, it helps people feel connected, it creates opportunities for people to access different opportunities and to realise their aspirations, would you say?
Absolutely, and we've worked together for a long time, since, 2017?
2017, yes.
And worked on things like our really successful Jobs and Apprenticeships Fair, but also the creative industries is one of the fastest growing industries in the UK, and there's a real opportunity to use what we're doing as entry level for upskilling and jobs into the creative industries.
In reality, this has started a long time ago, hasn't it? Because we've been looking at different ways of working together to bring about improvements both to the Delaware and somewhere in the heart of Sidley, which is ended up being the Sidley Recreation Ground. And
so I mean, I was going to say, I think the reason that this has been successful is, as you've just said, you've got your project that is embedded and has come from the community. We've got our project that has been consulted on over a long period of time. And then we've been working together since 2017 on various projects, and we're still working on projects to deliver for the community. So it's really looking to cement that relationship, isn't it?
Definitely.
There's been a few questions on social media, on Facebook and things, that perhaps we should just very quickly discuss.
Definitely.
So the first one just is about why the pavilion's getting 17 million and why Sidley's getting just over 2 million.
Well, that's an easy one, isn't it? We asked for 2 million for what we need to do. We asked for £2 million to make improvements and build a community hub at the Sidley Recreation Ground.
So that was the amount of money that you needed and
Yes.
that you'd requested.
Yes.
And for the pavilion, I've been working on investment for the pavilion for years. And this is an opportunity to get major investment into the pavilion that hopefully means we can solve some of the problems. The 2005 refurbishment of the pavilion was an £18 million project that got delivered for 8. So of course lots of things were left out and the quality of what was done was variable. So this is the opportunity. So I was trying to get as much investment for the pavilion. So that was my ask and that was your ask. And those were genuine projects that had already been worked up.
Yes, we already had everything available for that. And you're putting in more match funding onto you.
And we're putting in more match funding as well. So we've got almost another £5 or £6 million of investment still to raise for it, which is our job to do. Sorry.
No, I was going to say we're also putting in some match funding. So we'll be putting in some extra match funding from Heart of Sidley funds and looking externally for other match funding as well.
And then it's probably important to say that the request for projects was very quick, wasn't it?
Very quick, yeah.
So we've worked very quickly, and indeed that means that the projects were ready to go, weren't they? Which means we could respond to that quick call.
Well, having consulted with our 2 communities, we know what the communities want, so we were able to respond really quickly.
And then, I don't know about you, but I'm sure we're all struggling with the energy and the cost of
Definitely.
living crisis. I mean, just to be clear, we've still got to struggle with that, haven't we?
Definitely.
And the money that we're receiving is for capital investment.
Yes, well, we've asked for this money for a specific reason. We run other projects, as I'm sure you do, around cost of living support, helping a range of food poverty, fuel poverty, accessing different opportunities, but this money was asked for a very particular reason.
Yeah. So we can't use that money to pay for our running costs
No.
And indeed we're working together, aren't we, to raise money for projects that we're going to run while the levelling up projects get developed and delivered.
Yes.
And then just one final thing, I mean, whether they're serious comments or not, but it's just about, can this money be used for potholes and other bits and pieces? Just goes back to that thing that it's for these specific projects.
Definitely. It wasn't like someone looked at, well, here's a pot of money that's available, what can we do with it? We've been talking for a long time about how we can bring to reality our 2 dreams to make improvements in our areas, and this pot of money has become available and is ideal for it.